The opinions you hear on this show are those of the host and the host only. They are not shared by YouTube or by any of our following sponsors. So enjoy while we either bring you excitement, entertainment, or just straight up piss you off.
You are now listening to RJV TV. RJV TV. RJV TV.
Sports, music, film, entertainment, fashion, gaming, technology, and even politics. Yeah, we'll talk about it. You are now listening to RJV TV. And we are back one more time on RJV TV, bringing you guys up to speed on everything that's gone down since our last episode. And man, there's quite a few little things that are tinkering around in the notes here that we got to touch base on. A couple of little things that definitely are worthy of a mention. But first off, I myself am Randall Villafane. You can find me online on Twitter, on Instagram at Mr. Randall V, and that's MR, not the whole word of Mr, because I'm not a gentleman like that. And that's, what they're for gentlemen.
Yeah.
Like if I was English gentleman, yes, you could write Mr. Randall V.
MR.
And across the stage, I have Mr. Armando Rodriguez, also known as Bless.
Round of applause.
You can find him. No, there's not going to be around for you. You can find him on Twitter, on Instagram at Cuts by Bless. Cuts with a Z at the end. But on Instagram, it is slightly different. It's Cuts with a Z _by_ Bless. I don't know why you would want to do it like that.
Just had to.
It's annoying. It's irritating.
Unique.
I wouldn't want to follow you.
Your laws.
Oh, man. I just love today. I'm just in one of those be mean moods.
We're in goofy mood today.
Yeah.
It's been all like that all night. And
Well, let's take off with the first subject.
There's a subject here?
Yes, the first subject. MIA. You know who she is?
Yes.
Do you know that she did something kind of wrong in a Super Bowl?
Did she?
Something that a lot of people thought was controversial.
I remember.
Slightly wrong.
Yeah.
Should not be done on live TV.
Should she do it again?
On a regular, channel.
During?
Not like this was HBO or something like that. Or even AMC.
She thought it was.
Yeah, maybe it was. Either way, the NFL is trying to get $1.5 million out of her pocket for that situation. And she's appealing that, saying, that this furor, this whole entire, landmine of controversy around this is really overblown.
Blown out of proportion?
Yeah, it's really overblown, and it doesn't really merit a $1.5 million reward for the NFL. And I mean,
she's
know the
clearly stating that she's broke.
Well, no, I mean, not only that, but really, is it, I mean...
How long ago was it? Like 2 years ago?
Let me ask you a question then, because Randy Starks from the Miami Dolphins threw up the middle finger to his own sideline in the middle of the game, and it was caught live on camera, on tape. Are they going to, go ahead and chase him for $1.5 million?
No, I don't think it's going to happen.
No. And the thing is, you look at what, the NFL has been doing lately, in Dominic Sue getting a freaking $100,000 fine. Yeah. There's a few players that they're all, I mean, NFL is always hunting for a way to.
Yeah, but it's in the margin of thousands. They're trying to get a whole mill out of this girl.
Exactly.
Maybe because of the name and the background following she got.
But that's, and even I get because it was a Super Bowl, there's a certain amount of people watching and all this stuff. But where are they getting that number from?
What I'm trying to figure out, did she offend anybody?
Was there, well, yeah, of course there was offended. I mean, enough religious folk. didn't find that attractive. And not only that, but of course, I mean, kids are watching, so parents won't be too happy about that.
Oh, true.
So I mean, yeah, there's gonna be that kind of reaction. I get that, but where are they getting the sum of she needs to pay us $1.5 million? Like, was there lost revenue?
I doubt it.
I mean, was there anywhere that they require that they need to be paid for that? I don't know.
Was it in the contract?
I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, there was. I don't know what was stated in the contract in regards towards situations like that. I'm pretty sure they pointed out, please do not show your boob. Like maybe they did that one.
Hey, Janet.
Guarantee your wardrobe is at tip-top shape.
No malfunction, please.
Yes, we don't want Justin Timberlake's eyes glaring at another boob.
Janet Jackson.
That was Janet Jackson's boob. Yeah.
Yeah, so
that was interesting.
You can glare at that all you want.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That star. Moving on. So they're trying to chase her for $1.5 million. I really don't know why they would chase for that amount of money. I would want a more deeper explanation than what they've given. And I guess we'll wait and see, because she's saying she's not going to pay that. So we'll have to wait and see.
Word, I wouldn't pay nothing either.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what the actual outcome of that is at the end of the day. But, man, I don't know why that amount is what they're looking for. But I guess we'll move on and see. Maybe that's what she was paid. They want their money back for her part of the performance, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so sticking in the NFL, week 2 went by. And
interesting week 2.
Yeah, very interesting week 2. The one of the teams that's catching people by surprise. Well, there's 2 teams that are not catching by surprise, but they're just standing out. And we have to talk about it because we are, pre-taping this, so we have already seen this matchup. Kansas City and Philly.
Yeah.
Kansas City has shown that it's a very, very valuable team right now. And Alex Smith and Andy Reid are becoming quite a combination. I mean, Andy Reid's offensive mind, the way he works, is working well with Alex Smith. And, everything Andy Reid is doing is working well with Alex Smith. And that's something that we were wondering, how Andy Reid was going to bounce back from, his removal from Philly after so many years. And then not only that, but this was his return to Philly. And, it was one of those, welcome back home, Andy, now let's kick your ass. And instead, it didn't really work out like that.
It wasn't just that. Andy Reid went back. They honored Donovan McNabb at halftime. And it was great, man. It was great to see him back there.
A worthy guy to really, give that attention to.
And not only that, I think we had a discussion before the NFL season started that me and you and I both agreed that, one of the biggest sleeper teams is going to be KC. We thought that Alex Smith and Andy Reid was going to be a hell of a pair. It's turning out to be that way. I wouldn't have thought it'd be 3-0. Don't get me wrong now. I'm very surprised by that.
Yeah, 3-0 right now. They went up on the Eagles in the first quarter, 10-6. Then they came back and put down 2 more field goals in the second quarter. And in the final quarter, in the fourth quarter, they put in another touchdown and also an additional field goal to go with that. And the Eagles, they had their pair of field goals in the first, field goal in the third, and then a touchdown in the fourth. But it wasn't enough. Kansas City takes the win 26-16. And a very impressive win by Kansas City.
One thing that's catching my eye with Philly is that whole Vic and Deshaun Jackson teaming up. They're pairing up real good too.
Yeah, I mean that team is good in every way. LaShawn McCoy also, they're all playing really well.
It's just sad to see them go now 1-2 like that.
No. It's not even that. I'm not concerned about that as much. I'm more concerned about what's gonna be the longevity of this offensive style for that team, because you're pushing a pace that you push in college because you're able to substitute entire teams at one shot. I mean, you can't substitute what you do in college
in the NFL.
So you're pushing these guys a lot harder, and obviously they're athletes. They're supposed to push the extra mile, but now you're asking them to play like 20-year-olds, and you're asking them to play like 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, like that age group. That's what you're asking them to run. And what's going to be the status of these guys at the end of the season? When playoffs come around, are they still going to have that kind of energy? Are they still going to have that kind of adrenaline going, or are they going to be gassed? That's what's worrying me about this offensive style that Chip Kelly's bringing in. Now, obviously, it's fancy. It looks great. It's entertaining as hell. I love watching it. It's very, very fun to watch. But there's that one thing that we need to see.
Not only that, the physical meltdown too. All the beating and tackling, and it takes a toll on your body. At the end of the season, you don't know how they're gonna be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean but that's with every team, the tacklings and all that stuff. And I'm talking about running that kind of.
Yeah, but if
pace.
you're running a faster pace, you're running more plays, you're running more. You know what I mean? So that means that you're getting, depending on, let's say for instance, what I'm trying to get at is, since you're moving at a faster pace and you're obviously getting in more plays in there. Yeah. By the end of the game, you probably did what you do in 2 games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're still not matching the Patriots, so.
Yeah, I seen that too. The Patriots are.
Patriots numbers on plays is a lot larger. Well, moving back, because week 2, of course, went by first before the Kansas City and Philly game, but week 2. We already had spoken about the Jets and Patriots. Very ugly game in the last show. But moving on, we had Panthers versus Bills in the nail biter, where E.J. Manuel gets that last-second touchdown and then breaks down in tears, showing the emotion for having that comeback victory for his team, his first NFL victory. And he does it over Cam Newton and that squad. And Cam Newton, although the Carolina Panthers don't really look like, they're going to be top-notch team this year, but they're still, you're still talking about Cam Newton, one of the better quarterbacks in the league that's really showcased it, even though he's showcased, issues with, attitude previously, character flaws and things like that. But all in all, the kid's a good quarterback. So E.J. Manuel pulling that off against that team, really good, really impressive for him. And, man, if that kid has a future in there, if he can keep that kind of a pace up, because he really is standing out more than a lot of people expected. Yeah. And him being the quarterback, the first quarterback picked out in the draft, you have to make sure that you prove why Buffalo took that risk. Yeah. We also had Vikings versus Bears. The Bears. Another one that went to the closing seconds. And, man, Jay Cutler cutting down the Vikings. That's what you call him. Jay the Cutler. Because he sliced that ball with precision. Precision for a touchdown. I think it was with 6 seconds left on the clock. Left nothing. No possibility.
No trail for comeback at all.
Nothing. Man, he did it for the Bears and pulls out a very, very good victory against the Minnesota Vikings. Adrian Peterson still had his very nice game, I guess. It wasn't the greatest, but he's being defended differently, man. A lot of people have figured him out a bit, and I don't know if he's gonna be able to get close to that number this year. I don't know.
He's got some crazy offensive bursts from here on out.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. Redskins versus Packers. Aaron Rodgers had a field day in this game.
Damn.
He went off. I mean, how many touchdowns did he have?
I believe he had 4 TDs.
Yeah, 4 TDs.
400 yards.
Yeah, he had a career high in yards.
Over 450 yards, I know that.
Yeah, sure. He had a career high in yards. I think it was 480. I believe it was a total 480 yards in total. But man, he had a hell of a game. And then it seems like what the situation is right now with Robert Griffin III is that he gets his legs under him in the second half.
Yeah, he starts off slow and then the second half is win.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's like the Donald Cerrone from MMA in football. Yeah, like that's kind of like his pace. Like he starts off slow and then suddenly, when it's getting to the later ends.
I feel like he's being limited. I mean, they don't want him
to
run.
Well, no, of course, but I mean that's protecting your passer at the same time. I mean, if this is the game that they're gonna want to have RG3 playing, at least until
I just feel like
he feels confident.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not comfortable. It's about confidence. He doesn't step down on that leg. He doesn't step down on that leg.
When he throws, he's just throwing off.
So that's why I'm saying there's no confidence. There's no confidence, and you know that running through his brain is like, I don't want no one near my legs.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with this. Yeah, he can be 100% healed, but mentally, that's a different thing.
Derrick Rose.
Hey, exactly. Perfect example. Thank you. That's a perfect example. The guy had no confidence in himself to return. Though everyone was saying he's 100% healed, no confidence mentally to return. He chose not to come back. And RG3, I mean, he showed his man goods, and came back even with that. Even though it might be affecting him mentally. And who knows, this might be the best thing for him, because you're letting him settle in live. Let's settle in while actual hits are coming, not training, not practice. No, this is actual game.
And he has been getting.
Now this for me doesn't. I mean, even with that, the offensive line on that Redskin team isn't.
They have no O-line.
No, and the defense isn't doing much either. Obviously, I mean, we saw
the defense was better off last year for some reason.
The defense was shredded by Aaron Rodgers, so I mean, we obviously saw that. But yeah, I mean, Washington has some issues that they need to clear out. This is not going to be a highlight year, at least not for right now, until we're able to see RG3 really get back into his kind of game. Then we're going to be stuck seeing him try and get back in his own. Either that or adjust to the pocket. And it seems like that's being a problem for him, especially because, again, if you watch every throw, he's never planting that foot. And without planting that foot, you're going to see inaccurate throws. You're going to see less power in some of those throws.
He's been missing a lot of accurate throws. They haven't been precise.
Exactly. And last year, his accuracy was on point. At least more on point. We also had the Browns versus the Ravens. And this was an ugly game also. I mean, the Ravens picked up the pace towards the end of the game. But they were losing this game for a while, 3-0. The Browns have nothing.
It's horrible.
Yeah. But the Ravens, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of problems with the Ravens. A lot of problems. They had a very, very tough time against a very, very, very easy
mediocre team.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen there. The Cowboys and Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, we already said the Kansas City Chiefs are 3-0. So, obviously, you would recognize that the Chiefs won this game. I believe it was a last minute interception that ended up concluding it. Tony Romo was trying to run a game-winning drive and ended up getting intercepted and turned over. At least the ball was turned over, and Kansas City held on for the victory, 17-6. The Ravens and Browns, by the way, ended 14-6 with the Ravens scoring 2 touchdowns at the end of the day. Brandon Whedon had to pretty much walk out. They're going to replace him at the quarterback position with the third stringer. Damn. Yeah, they're completely skipping the backup and going straight to the third stringer. So we'll see how that goes for them. And we got some news on them that we're going to speak on in a little bit also. The Tennessee Titans versus the Texans. Titans were this close to winning that game.
Missed what?
Missed opportunities.
Yeah.
And, man, it really hurt towards the end. A Texan team that's, again, another Texan team that does not look the same like they looked last year right now. They were beyond more impressive last year until, it got towards the end of the season when arrogance took the better of them. Once they started getting varsity jackets and all that stuff, all of a sudden they started getting, their footballs handed to them.
Balls.
Yeah. But the Texans pull out a comeback victory for the second time in a row. A comeback victory in overtime. It was double overtime, wasn't it?
No, just overtime.
Just
it was
overtime?
a hell of a catch in the corner of the field, though.
Yeah.
For the touchdown.
Wasn't it an interception?
No. It was a pass to the corner of the end zone.
No, that was Cutler. That was EJ Manuel.
No.
Texans was an interception. It was a pick six.
Was it?
It was a pick six.
Was it a grab in the corner with a 2 feet in, and then they called it a touchdown, and that's how they won the game? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a pick six.
I think it was a touchdown. I could have sworn it was a touchdown.
Nope. Pick six.
For real?
Yep.
What game was it that it was a corner catch to win the game?
EJ Manuel's was a corner catch. Jay Cutler's was a corner catch.
I could have sworn the Texans game was the same thing.
Yeah. And they have a problem with their kicker, too. Because their kicker missed a 41-yard field goal as time expired, and he missed it like 3 times.
Overtime, yeah.
Yeah, he missed it like 3 times.
Yeah, that's weird. I thought
Yeah. No, you know what? You're right. The pick six was the Chargers game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
the
right.
Texans game was a corner
That's
catch
right.
too.
That's
And
right.
they wanted to see if his 2 feet were in, and they were in, and that's how they won the game.
Yeah. So that's what happened with that game. It was the...
So there was then 3 corner catches to win games on week 2.
Yeah.
That's fresh.
And we also had Chargers versus Eagles, where the Chargers beat the Eagles.
Yes.
Phillip Rivers came through for San Diego, and they used that high-octane offense as well against Philly and they practically saying, okay, you're going to bring that. We're going to bring it also.
Phillip Rivers did the winning drive, and then they intercepted the ball at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. There we go.
Yeah. But impressive win from Phillip Rivers against the Philadelphia Eagles, who are now 1-2 after their loss for week 3 against Kansas City on Thursday Night Football. We also had the Dolphins and the Colts.
Dolphins looking impressive in the defensive end.
Yeah, the defensive end is working really well. The offensive worked very well this time too, because they finally put Mike Wallace in the picture, and he made it worthwhile. Got a touchdown in this game. He was the entire first drive.
Yeah.
Which ended in touchdown. It was every pass was him. Had a few very significant catches in the game. So did Brian Hartline. Ryan Tannehill's accuracy is on point. I mean, he's really improved himself a lot, and we're seeing that. And we're seeing why his coach has been saying that he's going to be the most improved quarterback from last season. We're seeing why that's out there now. Obviously, we have time to see if that's going to be the final conclusion, but there's still some issues in that offensive line for the Dolphins because he's still getting sacked way too many times.
I mean, I like in the defensive end that they're playing real good. I don't want to rate the Dolphins yet till about 6th or 7th week, because now they got the Falcons coming up, they got Ravens coming up. You know what I mean?
They need to play those teams. I mean, Ravens. I'm not even.
But still, the defending champs, so you never know. You know what I mean? Anything's possible. Any given Sunday, nobody.
No, of course. I mean, that's without question. But my point is, they're not the same team.
No, of course, everybody knows that.
So for me, facing the Falcons is a different kind of situation, because the Falcons is
Ryan
practically almost the same team in certain situations. But obviously, they've had some changes.
And they actually got the Dolphins winning for week 3 by 3+3, so who knows?
They've really caught attention. That's one thing. They've really caught a lot of people's attention, especially in a very, very broken division where Patriots seem to struggle in certain situations. But Gronkowski's looking like he's going to be returning soon. You're seeing the injury status start going to probable now, so we have to wait and see what happens with him. But them doing what they did against Andrew Luck defensively was beyond impressive.
Yeah, that last stop of the game, man, that was good.
Couple interceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, and that Andrew Luck is still a young quarterback as well, and he's still settling in. But man, the corners for Miami are playing really well.
Yeah, they're on top of it.
I mean, it's really Grimes is just out there, man. I mean, the guy is. I mean, there's a lot of impressive plays by the Dolphins in this game. It's defensively beyond. If this Dolphin team is to make it anywhere near a playoff potential, it's going to be thanks to that defense.
Agreed.
Thanks to that defense more than anything. Now, We also had Rams versus Falcons, where Rams almost made a comeback in this game. It was an impressive attempt there by Bradford and the St. Louis Rams trying to come back on the Atlanta Falcons, scoring 2 touchdowns in the last quarter, but Atlanta was able to squeeze in their own to make that difference. The 31-24 victory for the Falcons. Lions and Cardinals, very good game. Cardinals ended up picking up the victory there, 25-21 over the Lions. The Lions is still one of those teams that you have to kind of look at. You like Matthew Stafford, you like Megatron, Calvin
Reggie
Johnson,
Bush.
Obviously. You like Reggie Bush, even though he got kind of banged up.
Yeah.
I mean, you like it when you see it from the
this
team,
week,
but
hasn't
it's still, I don't know, like you're still waiting to see that full-on potential come from that team because their quarterback, Matthew Stafford, is a good quarterback.
With the Lions, it's always up in the air. It's always been like that with them.
Exactly, man. But the one key they have, man, is Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
And he's, again, just looking beyond impressive in every single way possible. I mean, that he had one of those catches in that game where he literally grabbed the ball from, like, in front of the player and
pulled it back.
Yeah, it was beyond crazy impressive.
We saw a couple of those this week for week 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cardinals end up taking up the victory 25-21. Saints versus Buccaneers. I mean, New Orleans Saints, they're 2-0, but they're not an impressive 2-0 as it is right now. I mean, looks like there's still some settling going there. Buccaneers are just a mess.
Yeah, horrible mess.
I don't know.
And then Darrell Reeves.
I don't know. Yeah, and to me, it just looks like this whole entire team is about to implode. Looks like Gianno might be, released soon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of craziness. I mean, everything is just going crazy in this team, and I mean, I don't even know where to put things into perspective when it comes to that team. They're just a mess right now.
Core.
No, nothing. It's all gone. It's all gone. There's
no core. They don't even know where the hell they're going.
Yeah. It's completely a mess right now. We also had Jaguars versus Raiders. Jaguars just terrible. They even had a rally outside for fans chanting for Tebow with signs for Tebow. I don't think they're gonna go for that. I don't think they
should, but
I mean, they need to try something. Without question, they need to try something, but I don't know if they're gonna go for Tebow. Maybe they'll call Chad Ochocinco. But Raiders end up coming up with the victory 19-9. A very good victory for Oakland, regardless of the poor opponent that it had in the situation. But I mean, it wasn't like a beyond touchdown win. It was one touchdown and the rest was field goal kicks. This was a soccer game pretty much.
Horrible.
49ers and Seahawks. This was a strange game.
Yo.
It was a strange one. There was a rain delay.
Almost 2 hours.
After the rain delay, then things continued, and suddenly we saw a spark in Seattle, and they just ran through San Francisco
that
like
defense.
nothing. Like, I mean, it was yeah. But this is the thing that I'm saying, and there's a huge advantage with that crowd, very, very big advantage with that crowd in Seattle. You got to give that crowd, like, they deserve an award
for being the way they are.
I mean, they really, I think they broke the record, actually, the Guinness World record. They were louder than a jet engine.
Yikes.
So that tells you right there. I mean, imagine a jet engine hovering over you, dropping that sound all on top of you.
Continuous.
Yeah, and it was non-stop. It was non-freaking stop. It's impressive. And really, but this is where I go. I want to see how great this defensive team is going to be on away games.
Yeah, well,
are they going to be that impressive away?
I agree.
Because, you're going to have an advantage that Colin Kaepernick can't make the proper calls, can't make the proper switches because it's going to take him too long to really do audibles. He can't do any audibles in that place.
Especially when you can't hear, people can't hear you.
You can't do any audibles. They had to call enough timeouts because they couldn't call audibles. This is the thing, and obviously I know I mean, certain players on that Seahawk team attacked people for criticizing them and saying that they weren't going to win this game. But my criticism isn't that they're not a great defensive team. They are. They have great defensive men. But are they going to be that impressive away?
Well, they're ranked defensively number 1 for a reason. So
yeah.
You just got to keep on bagging it up.
I want to see it. That's what I do. I want to see it. But right now they're 2-0. 49ers are 1-1. And Colin Kaepernick lost an eyebrow.
Hey, at least he kept his word on his end of the bet.
Yeah. So
great way to promote Madden 25 as well.
Yeah, that was a fun way. I enjoyed it. Steelers and Bengals was Monday Night Football.
Another horrible game.
Another horrible game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean,
Cincinnati. As bad as Jacksonville, yo.
There was an actual touchdown.
Bad,
there was an actual touchdown.
But still, they look like they all lost completely too.
Yeah, I mean, they lose their star wide receiver, Mike Wallace. Their running game is going nowhere. I mean, it's just falling apart every single way possible. For a Pittsburgh Steelers team to start 0-2, this Pittsburgh Steelers team with Ben Roethlisberger at the helm, it's tough. It's really tough.
It doesn't look bright.
No, and that O-line for Ben is just terrible, man. It's just terrible. That guy's gonna get beat up this year. Cincinnati though, Andy Dalton still looking red rifle-ish.
Yeah,
still looking on point and pulls off 2 touchdown and 2 field goal kick victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ends up 20-10. And that was your week 2. Now in week 3, we have some very impressive matchups. Texans versus Ravens. Giants versus Panthers. And by the way, for the Giants, Tom Coughlin, our sympathies to you, who lost his brother in a taxi mishap, man. It wasn't even like, it's strange what happened. And he was just at the Giants sideline for this last game for week 2. And now, he's passed, which is terrible, terrible news. And our thoughts and prayers are with Tom Coughlin and his family. Definitely. And all those around the Giants organization. But they'll be facing the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if Tom Coughlin's actually going to be at the game for this one. They might, deal with just having one of the offensive coordinators or the assistant coaches take over that spot. We'll wait and see. Rams versus Cowboys. Buccaneers versus Patriots. Chargers versus Titans. Browns versus Vikings. That's just going to be... Green Bay versus Cincinnati. That's going to be an interesting one. Lions versus Redskins. Those are 2 teams that are pretty even at the moment.
Coming off of losses,
Cardinals versus Saints. See Arizona. And all those games are at 12 in the afternoon. Now at 3:05, you have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Dolphins for the Dolphins home opener. At 3:25, you have the Bills versus the Jets. Buffalo.
Yeah, I got Buffalo in that game.
Jaguars versus Seahawks. I mean, that's just gonna... that might be a game where Russell Wilson might actually break Peyton Manning's record. That might be the game.
It's funny because I feel like it's a trap, for all those that like to bet. But the score for the game overall score is plus 47.
Yeah. If somehow if you bet on the Jaguars, you bet $5 on Jaguars and they win, you probably walk away with like $5,000.
Exactly. It's plus 47 for you to beat them by plus 47.
I'd put a bet for plus 3 Jaguars.
Well, overall score plus 47, but to beat them is plus 19. For them to beat them is by over 19, and the overall score is plus 47. Yeah, that's gonna be a high scoring game. That really comes down to it.
We're gonna see what wins.
Which I'm pretty sure could happen. You're talking about the Jaguars against the Seahawks.
Exactly. Colts versus 49ers. Yeah,
interesting game there too.
Yeah, it's an interesting game.
I see 49ers.
And then and Sunday Night Football will be Bears versus Steelers.
Man.
Monday Night Football will be the Raiders versus the Broncos.
You already know who's going to win.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I feel like the Broncos are going to win that game. And then more likely we'll be talking about this game in the next show, which will be 49ers versus Rams for Week 4, on Thursday Night Football.
Nice.
At 7:25, obviously. So that'll be the NFL segment. And before we close this out, the blockbuster trade that went down was
Trent Richardson
heading over to
Indianapolis Colts for a first-round pick.
Interesting trade. Obviously, Trent Richardson is known as a star running back. So
you made a good point of view. Said a good point.
I mean, for me, yeah, open up some room, and not only that, they're signing Willis McGahee, who passed his physical already, so it's official for him to be able to return. We don't know what kind of game status he's gonna be, but I guess we'll wait and see. But yeah, it's interesting. Trent Richardson over to the Colts. Something the Colts look like they might need was a better running game, and they got somebody who can help them out with them. Mm-hmm. They can help them out, and they have a pretty good offensive line there, even though the Dolphins kind of tore it up a bit. But you know what I mean. So that'll be your NFL news for this week, which took us practically the entire show. So we'll be back after this break so we can go ahead and talk about everything else that's going on in the world
of
RJV TV.
Word.
That's how it goes. RJV TV. We'll be right back after this break.
Introducing VaporStorm, the new and effective way to stop smoking today. Join the thousands of ex-tobacco smokers and make the switch to VaporStorm electronic cigarette. No more tobacco smoke, no ashes, and no more offensive odors. Only vapor. So stop smoking today and start vaping. Fumar cigarrillos es peligroso y para muchos hasta ofensivo. Para de fumar hoy. Visit us in Hialeah at the VaporStorm location at 3825 West 16th Avenue or call us for more information at 786-502-4230. 786-502-4230.
Are you looking for a place to promote your product, company, or event? Well, you have found the perfect place. RJV TV is the show for you and whatever you want to promote. RJV TV is one of the fastest growing internet TV shows on the net. RJV TV guarantees results, so don't miss out on this great opportunity. Promote your product, company, or event right here on RJV TV. For more information, call 786-262-4741, 786-262-4741, or email rjv.tvshow@gmail.com. Back here on RJV TV. And just like you saw there in the break, I remind you guys one more time, VaporStorm e-cigarettes. You can go check them out at VaporStorm.com. Like them on Facebook. Follow them on Instagram. And they're always showing you all the people who come in and quit cigarettes and change over to this new technology. Well, not new technology. It's existed for a couple of years now. Well, it was different, though. It was actually it looked like a cigarette.
A cigarette, yeah.
And now they got these things that just hang around your neck. Looks like a pen.
Mm.
And that's what VaporStorm has. So you can go check them out. Their starter kit at $59.99. Very, very good for the price when you get everything that you get in that little starter kit. You got over 20 assorted flavors. A lot of things that you can check out there. Remember, you can visit them at 3825 West 16th Ave. Unit 4, Hialeah, Florida 33012. You can call them up at 786-502-4230 and check them out. VaporStorm. I'll be making the transition very, very soon.
Quit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the habit of the cigarettes, it's something that's never really stuck to me. I've never been addicted to smoking.
Fiend?
No, I've never been that. And the only cigarette I really smoke is called American Spirit, which doesn't use any of the chemicals or anything. That's actually just straight tobacco in a cigarette. So it's mostly like I'm, smoking a cigar in a cigarette form. But that's really the only cigarette I've ever smoked. But due to VaporStorm, I'm making the change. And I recommend it for a lot of people. I mean, we still don't know a lot about long-term risks when it comes to any of this stuff. As far as we know, it's a better option. That's the most important thing. It's a better option than going ahead and filling yourself up with, full on cancer-ridden cigarettes. So go ahead and check out VaporStorm and check out that product, because you're going to get quality service and quality product when you go to VaporStorm. Now, ironically, I wanted to mention something about that. I was getting a colada yesterday.
And for those that don't know what a colada is, please explain.
Cuban crack.
All right.
Not really. Let me clear that up, because people will confuse that and think I'm like some crack fiend. Cuban crack
is coffee.
It's a little cup of coffee that gives you the adrenaline of 400 horsepower.
Equivalent to like 5 Red Bulls, y'all.
And it's insanely good to give you a little bit of an energy boost. And I have a tendency of needing that almost on a daily basis due to my working schedule. I'm constantly moving around, so I tend to get tired at the later hours of the night and end up having to go pick up a cola. And in this case, I go ahead. I'm waiting here at the window to order it, and I see this guy, and he's just like, I see him smoking a cigarette. I'm like, okay. And then he turns around. The ass has a freaking vape pen, an e-cigarette around his neck. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, doesn't that defeat the purpose? Like, isn't the point of you having that vape e-cigarette for the vapor?
He just contradict himself without even saying a word?
Like, he just looks stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he just looks stupid. It seemed ridiculous to me, and I posted out the question on Twitter. People responded saying, that's a dumbass. But yeah, it was one of those things where I just couldn't comprehend where that guy sees the logic of like in still smoking a cigarette when you go ahead and spend the money on an e-cig. And the thing is, you save a lot more money with those things too, because those little containers don't add up to what you spend on a freaking carton of cigarettes, and they're worth a carton of cigarettes. Yeah. So it really makes no sense to me. But whatever, that was an idiot. Moving on with things that are idiots.
With who?
A random 29-year-old girl.
Random?
I think it was Canada.
Random?
Well, yeah, random. I know her name exists now.
Okay.
It's out in the open. But she is the one to blame for Chris, the Birdman Andersen, being accused of chasing underage girls. In other words, a pedophile, child pornographer, however you want to say it. It was a 29-year-old girl that was to blame for the whole entire thing, and the charges have been dropped against Chris Andersen. And this is something that I'm glad came out like this, because there was a lot of people out in the open calling this guy a kid rapist and saying a bunch of like very, very horrible things. Like,
prejudging him before really knowing
exactly.
Anything. Never nuggets.
Yeah, he was literally a victim of a Manti Te'o type of thing, only in a different concept. This was his name being used in this kind of sense, and again, it was a 29-year-old Lynn Chartier of Easterville, Manitoba, posed as Andersen to communicate with underage girls and also pretend to be other people to talk to that wanted to talk to the tattoo-covered basketball player. So Chris ultimately was the victim in this case, and his name was used
wrongfully.
Yeah. So again, his all charges dropped.
Awesome.
Birdman was not the man behind the keyboard trying to attract 16-year-olds and underage girls in this situation. So all those out there calling him some kind of rapist and all this pedophile and, you should call Chris Hansen and all that stuff. No, he's kind of innocent.
Yeah.
Kind of innocent.
Denver Nuggets must feel like stupid asses right now letting him go. Guess we got a ring now.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's beyond happy. Okay. LA Dodgers make it.
Make it
NL. They clinched that NL Number one spot.
Playoff spot.
And what did they do to celebrate it? The Arizona Diamondbacks said, look, just don't celebrate on our field.
Okay.
They said, all right. Yeah, that pool over there, we're going to go jump in that. Yeah, we're going to go jump in that pool. That rivalry is now a little bit more tense. I'm sure that that's not going to be a very happy game the next time those guys meet. You know?
Nice, sweet, bitter taste left in their mouth for that one.
I think some people are going to get hit with some balls. Baseballs.
Okay.
Some people are going to get targeted.
With?
A-Rod style. They're just going to get boom.
With?
Baseballs.
Awesome.
And the Red Sox also clinch a postseason berth. The Rays and Rangers are tied up.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting to see what happens there. They're tied up for the top of the AL. So waiting to see who ultimately gets that number one spot. But yeah, man, the postseason is coming here for the Major League Baseball.
Yep.
We'll be getting more into that once it really gets to the postseason.
Yeah.
Once we're there.
End of the month.
Exactly.
December.
We'll be talking more into that and really covering all these teams that are making it into the postseason. One thing I did want to mention with the Marlins, you saw it.
Yeah.
Echevarria, I think that guy jumped about 7 feet in the air. I mean, an amazing amount of vertical to end. I think it was Cody Ash's
line drive hit.
Yeah, line drive. It wasn't even a line drive. It was a floater, man. It was up there. It was up there in the sky, and that man made one of the most amazing plays we've seen this year with that leaping catch. I mean, it was beyond impressive. The Marlins ended up winning that game in overtime. In extra innings. I mean, I say overtime, I get used to other sports terms. But yeah, in extra innings, they ended up coming out with the victory after Lucas hit a solo home run to put him up 4-3. But yeah, man, there's a lot of impressive talent in this Marlin team that with growth and time can really flourish to be
something really good.
Well, yeah, something really good, and we'll have to wait and see. I mean, Fernandez looks amazing. Echeverria at shortstop looks amazing. I mean, we have so many. Yeah, I mean, to me, Fernandez should be Rookie of the Year, NL Rookie of the Year, at least he should be. But with all eyes set on Yasiel Puig, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jose Fernandez definitely deserves that
maybe
kind of
even
recognition.
co-rookie of the year.
Who knows what they'll do? And he will even be in contention in the Cy Young. I mean, I wouldn't put it past to be in contention, coming in third in the Cy Young wouldn't be terrible for him either.
At least to be considered is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. Staying in baseball, Mariano Rivera plays his final game against the Red Sox. And that's it, man. The career of the Sandman comes to an end, comes to a conclusion in the Red Sox home.
Yeah.
And they gave him a standing ovation there.
They honored him with a video.
Yeah, they honored him. Yeah, they gave him. They let him sign the wall, which is beyond the privilege. And they gave him a nice little gift frame. I mean, it was very, very nice what the Boston Red Sox organization did for Mariano Rivera. Very, very
classy, professional,
exactly. Especially knowing the rivalry that exists between New York and Boston. It was very impressive for them to do something like that. And I mean, Mariano Rivera shoe-in Hall of Famer ever. Shoe-in Hall of Famer without question. One of the best closers. Well, he is the best closer to ever play the game. And much respect to that man and his arm. That guy is beyond impressive. I don't think he's human because he can still go. He's just retiring because he wants to retire, but he can still go. But yeah, beyond impressed with the career of Mariano Rivera. And one that will never be forgotten, for real. Like, he will go down with the legends. That name will never be erased. So, yeah. Adiós, Mariano.
And thank you.
Muchas gracias por todo lo que nos traíste en el juego de béisbol. Now,
he said thank you.
We're going to go to a quick commercial break now. We're going to come back with a couple of other things that are happening in the world.
Mariano.
And, we wanted to end this segment thanking Mariano Rivera one more time.
For throwing them crazy pitches, all them game winners, and all those strikeouts. All those saves. Everything.
All those saves that you gave us.
I was a fan. I have every right to emotionally express myself right now. Thank you.
Microphone's off now. We're going to go to a quick break and we'll be back after this.
Introducing VapoStorm, the new and effective way to stop smoking today. Join the thousands of ex-tobacco smokers and make the switch to VapoStorm electronic cigarette. No more tobacco smoke, no ashes, and no more offensive odors. Only vapor. So stop smoking today and start vaping. Fumar cigarrillos es peligroso y para muchos hasta ofensivo. Para de fumar hoy. Visit us in Hialeah at the VapoStorm location at 3825 West 16th Avenue or call us for more information at 786-502-4230. 786-502-4230.
Are you looking for a place to promote your product, company, or event? Well, you have found the perfect place. RJV TV is the show for you and whatever you want to promote. RJV TV is one of the fastest growing internet TV shows on the net. RJV TV guarantees results, so don't miss out on this great opportunity. Promote your product, company, or event right here on RJV TV. For more information, call 786-262-4741, 786-262-4741, or email rjv.tvshow@gmail.com. Back here on RJV TV, and I don't know how clear this camera can be with me right now, but I'm gonna try and get closer to this one so you guys can see this. MMA Tat Mag. You can check them out. MMA Tat Mag on Instagram. Magazine. They're going to be releasing special edition magazines, limited edition magazines, covering MMA fighters that are inked up. And they're going to have different segments. It's going to be an amazing magazine that they're going to be bringing out. They're actually taking some of these fighters to get tattooed and filming it and taking the pictures while the actual tattoo, is being placed on a fighter.
Nice.
Jessica Aguilar recently got filmed with her getting her tattoo. I mean, it's really impressive what they're doing with MMA Tat, and want to give them a little support, a little shout out, because definitely love what they're doing over there with MMA Tat Mag. So pay attention, because that's going to be a magazine you're going to want to get. It's going to be one of those things that's going to be collectors for all those that are, body art enthusiasts that love tattoos, that love ink,
and junkies of the MMA trade too. So
yeah, exactly. It's gonna be amazing to see what gets put together with that. But yeah, check them out, MMA Tat Mag or MMA Tat Magazine, and you can get all the information for them. Now, there was a little bit of a tragedy. Not a little bit. Let me be more serious about that. There was a tragedy that happened.
Did you just say a little bit?
Yeah. It's a terrible ex-Navy SEAL by the name of Aaron Alexis took 12 lives in Washington, D.C. And a lot of questions, a lot of things coming up surrounding this guy, Aaron Alexis. But the man started out with a shotgun. Then picked off a Beretta, a semi-auto Beretta off a security guard, and continued on his killing spree with that, and took 12 lives. Very, very unfortunate, very sad, very tragic to see something like this happen. And I mean, you just hate to see mass killings, usually any killings at all. I mean, no one has the right to take anybody's life. And, especially when it's just innocent people. that you're just going up on. I mean, of course, you can always bring up the conversation with death penalties and things like that.
Yeah, of course.
It's a whole different world. But when you're talking about just out in the open, people who are not in prison, people who haven't committed a crime, at least to our knowledge, and you're just going out and shooting these people for no reason at all, it's just terrible, man. I mean, there's just no words to put together for something like that, man. And our thoughts and prayers are with the families of all those affected by this tragedy, and we just hope you guys can get through this and see what the outcome is of the situation, because when the shootings at the school happened, immediately the gun conversation came up.
Gun control came up, yeah.
And in this situation, it was first reported that he was carrying around an AR-15.
False.
That was false, completely false. He was not carrying any AR-15, and they completely kept with that even after it was announced.
Yeah.
We'll not talk about those networks, but either way, shotgun. He started with a shotgun, ended with sawed-off shotgun, and then ended off with a semi-automatic Beretta. So, if for all of you out there, please, send your thoughts and prayers to all those families affected by this, families and friends. Because, I mean, even when you lose a friend, it's always going to be something beyond painful.
Hard, yeah.
So, make sure you send your thoughts and prayers. If you're not the type that prays, then obviously your thoughts, your sympathies, your love is something that's always helpful to all these families that have lost loved ones in such a tragic situation. Lost lives that should not have been lost in this way it was lost. So, with that in mind, a moment of silence, I believe, is in order for that. Again, thoughts and prayers with all those who have lost somebody in this Washington, D.C. killing spree. And that tragedy continues, because we had more happening down here locally. What is it? A local drug dealer just went crazy and shot up some people, and then he ended up getting pulled over up in Broward.
I'm not sure what the story is, the entire background of the story is, but obviously it started off at in the hammocks in the Kendall area locally, and he shot and killed his girlfriend and his girlfriend's 28-year-old daughter. Yeah. They were airlifted to Kendall Regional, and I guess they were pronounced dead. But the chase went from Kendall all the way to Miramar and Broward, which is kind of insane. The distance driven for a chase.
Yeah.
And then this heartless dude, so to speak, completely T-bones a 47-year-old lady in a Mercedes-Benz and sends her flying out through the passenger side of the car, and died on impact. And he continued to go another half a mile until his car completely stopped. Heartless, cold, no thought for human life, nothing. It's just disturbing to see people's selfishness and greed and just non-moral for other people, human beings. It's so wrong. And that kind of like impacted me in a bit when I heard about the story yesterday, because it's like, damn, at any given time, you just take a look to your left or to your right, bro, and suddenly things can change for the rest of your life. In that instant, everything blacks out and you're gone. And what this dude did, man, was completely wrong. Then to have the nerve to sit there in the car after what he did, just off himself, not even to deal with the consequences or anything. It's just very, very what cowards do, not cool, But then police went to his house to find out that this dude was having his own lab growing out. They actually confiscated 47 weed plants from this dude's house, So who knows what the story is? It's still unfolding, but it's a crazy tragedy that happened down here that had the whole news and both counties on complete buzz, and on lockdown for a bit, man. It's crazy. Dudes be out here bugging.
Yeah, man. It's really, really crazy how that whole entire thing went down. First victims were Vivian Gallego Martinez and her daughter, Annabelle Benitez. The 51-year-old mother was shot at their home, and the daughter, 28, was taken to the Kendall Regional Trauma Center with gunshot wounds and died a few hours later. And then Maritza Medina was the woman killed in the car after being rammed. Just a whole entire ugly situation, and these things, I mean, just tough to see them happen like that, man. And another situation where our thoughts and prayers are definitely with all the families involved and all those that lost somebody in this situation or those that are affected by the situation. But yeah, so moving on from tragedy to something that can possibly be either exciting or confusing. Expendables 3, they add another star to their cast, and we've seen him play somewhat action roles, but we've seen him more playing a gentleman role, more calm kind of role, nothing like this, nothing Expendables 3 like. And that would be Kelsey Grammer, who was also Beast in X-Men.
Nice.
And we'll have to wait and see. I mean, is he going to get buff? I mean, is he going to get nice and built up? I mean, we see how all the other guys get put together. I mean, they got Terry Crews in this one. They got all of them are back. I think Statham, Stallone. I don't know if they're bringing Arnold and all of that back.
Jean-Claude, Arnold, they're all back.
I mean, it's crazy I mean, it's really becoming quite a series, the Expendables series. I mean, story isn't,
all that, but the action.
Exactly.
Amazing,
yeah, that's one of the things, and that's what you always loved about the action stars and the action movies from back in the days. It was always about the action more.
It wasn't about no story.
Yeah,
the story couldn't make no sense.
Exactly.
The movie was just ill off of action.
You didn't need to know why the girl got kidnapped and why Stallone was gonna go into the freaking woods to chase her. You just knew that he was gonna go in there and cut some people down,
and you was gonna enjoy it.
Exactly. But yeah, it's really becoming a fun series, the Expendables. And but yeah, Kelsey Grammer. It's gonna be interesting to see how he's gonna be used in this movie. Very interesting addition to the cast, and we'll see what happens with that. Now, the final topic for today is going to be something that's still being talked about. Floyd Money Mayweather defeats. Yeah, no, I know you called it. I know you called it. I'll admit it. I said Canelo was going to win it. It's there on record. I thought Canelo was going to win it. He did not. He obviously did not win it because it would have been much bigger news, obviously, I believe, if Canelo would have actually pulled off the victory. But a lot of questions in people's minds, unusual scorecards. One was a draw when it should not have been a draw at all. I mean, I had it closer than one of the other judges. I had it exactly matching one of the other judges. I think I had Mayweather up by 3 rounds. But definitely was not a draw. And that judge as of now has turned in his resignation. So, or turned in their resignation. They're not going to be doing that no more. But yeah, it was a very, very confusing scorecard.
Turn of events.
yeah. But Mayweather just looking like himself, man. Very, very fast. Using his speed to kill, pretty much would be the perfect terminology. Canelo could not get past the speed. For me, my whole idea was if he landed those power punches early, that's going to be the problem. He wasn't able to land those power punches early. He just wasn't. Mayweather came a little bit more prepared than he has for other fights. I got to give him credit with that because normally it takes him a couple of rounds to get adjusted. Not in this case. In this case, he came out fire blazing.
He was connecting on every shot, yo.
Yeah. He was on point. He was on point, and much credit to Money Mayweather. Very good victory for him. And then suddenly after that, he's talking about wanting to promote MMA fighters. He came out saying he wants to promote MMA fighters. He thinks he can take the sport to another level. And that's going to be interesting because him and Dana White, there's no love there.
There's nothing there.
There's no love there because Dana be insulting.
He bashes on Mayweather.
Yeah. He be dropping bombs on Money Mayweather. So we're going to see where this goes. You never know. I mean, Dana's talked like that about Tito Ortiz, and they became buddies again. Now they're not, talkative anymore. But, we've seen situations where Dana go ahead and bash somebody, and then a year later, he's all, friends with them walking around. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But, yeah, this fight went the distance, became a majority decision due to that draw that got called on. But yeah, Mayweather wins another title to put around his waist, and the guy just keeps racking up those belts, and he's unquestionably going to go down as one of the best boxers in history. No matter how you feel about his attitude or his character, or his personality, or any of that. Yeah, the cockiness can be what it is. At the end of the day, the guy is one of the greatest talented boxers. Yeah, he's one of the most gifted boxers we've seen inside the ring, and he's one of the ones that keeps boxing alive right now. When it comes to talk about it, you're talking about a new record-breaking setting pay-per-view. Yep. People went out and bought this thing, and I don't know how people feel about the fight itself because it wasn't really the most exciting fight, but that undercard was. Yeah, the undercard gave a show.
The co-main event was a really good fight.
Yeah, they gave a show. So regardless of how you feel about the Mayweather Canelo fight, that fight card gave you your money's worth. Even though I still think pricing for boxing events is still a little bit too steep, But regardless, man, much credit to Mayweather. Boy already went ahead and posted a picture of his check. Saw that thing? $41.5 million. Posted that thing up there like, yeah, look, money I made. Oh, you're hungry? Oh, I got $40 million.
Damn.
Anyway. There I go. I just bashed him. I'm sorry, money. Money.
Kids in Ethiopia need food, man.
No, but he's been generous. He's given to charities. He's done his part. So, but all in all, Mayweather does pull out that victory against Canelo in impressive fashion and showcases the world why he's still the best to do it. Now, to close off the show, I remind you guys again, remember, go ahead and visit vapeastorm.com so you can get all the information on how to contact Vape a Storm and go ahead and look at that starter kit for $59.99 and start vaping. Quit the cigarettes and start vaping. It'd be bad if you switch those letters around. If you accidentally, then it becomes, video game terminology. You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
I don't know if people know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it. But you can go ahead and start vaping. Go ahead and visit the vapeastorm.com website. You can there see the links to the Facebook, to the Instagram, so you can start following them around. Check out the product that they give you and get that guaranteed quality grade A service that you need to get from somebody who provides you with equipment that will have you cancel out one of the worst things you can put in your mouth.
Nicotine.
And MMA Tat Mag. Gotta go ahead and check out MMA Tat Magazine. They're gonna definitely provide you with some very, very special things, man. It's gonna be crazy to be able to look at this magazine once it's been printed. It's gonna be a work of art, really. Not to use a pun there in that situation because you're talking about body art, but it really is gonna be a work of art when you see that. So you can go ahead and check out MMA Tat Mag on Instagram and follow them there, man. They're gonna keep you posted on everything that's happening with that. Remember, you can follow me, Randall Villafane, at Mr. Randall V on Twitter and on Instagram. You can follow Mr. Bless right here at Cuts by Bless, Cuts with a Z by Bless. And on Instagram, it's with the underscores in between every word.
You tired?
No, I'm just.
Yeah, that's an ill shirt though.
I'm annoyed.
Shout out to MMA Tat, man.
I'm annoyed by the.
You need to stop. Vape.
I'm very, very annoyed.
Let's go get some couple dreads on the vapes, yo. This is a good way to end the show.
No,
Vape.
it's terrible.
Vape.
I'm now hiring. Co-host wanted. I'm playing.